Yep.
Okay.
It's going.
All right. So how does the Hunger Cleanup, this organization, help individuals?
Well, our goal is we actually branched off from an organization that started, I think it was like at BC or some other school.
Yeah.
They started this whole project of Hunger Cleanup many years ago because this is the 23rd annual. And they started it before us. So the main mission of the group is to raise money to help end hunger. We don't raise that much money that we, sometimes I wonder about the impact.
Yeah.
But you have to start somewhere, and I think that, as far as the students are concerned, that really sort of resonates with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to be able to know that you make a difference.
Definitely.
Financially speaking, it may be small, but with all of the volunteering that we end up doing as a result of the actual project, we have about 500 people who volunteer for the day of the event. Most years, it sort of gets the word out about this issue that a lot of people living here in this bubble don't really necessarily think about all the time.
Definitely.
We definitely have food accessible to us all the time, so whether it's here or at home. But what we do with the money that we raise is we donate it to various organizations in the local area, in Bridgeport specifically usually. And we actually talk with the director on the other end, and we say, we would like to make a donation, but we don't like to just give them a carte blanche with the money. We ask them to agree to use the money to go towards educational programs. And the whole idea is that we are hopefully helping to end the cycle of poverty. So if you have a better education, hopefully you'll be able to get a better job, and you'll be able to make enough money to put food on the table for your family or just yourself.
That's great.
Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. So even though it's called the Hunger Cleanup, like it's helping hunger, but
it's
in
kind
other
of a
ways,
strange title, isn't it?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
it has to have started somewhere. So
when I first started, I've been here for 5 years, and I've been working on Hunger Cleanup since I got here. But I was working with, I had a co-advisor for the first 4 years, not this year. And I just, with the name, I knew it had to do with service, and that's the majority of my work is coordinating service and stuff like that. And so I knew I wanted to be involved and that it fit.
Yeah.
But I was like, what, this Hunger Cleanup thing? I didn't get the title. It didn't resonate with me, but the whole project did. It took a while to kind of wrap my head around.
Yeah.
I think we should come up with a better name.
Probably.
A better name. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's good. It gets people started,
Yeah.
if they have that opportunity. So, other than Bridgeport, where else does it help
we
anywhere?
sometimes go to areas in Norwalk, Trumbull, Shelton. It's definitely in this area, still in this county. We don't go as far as like New Haven and stuff like that because, Yale can tackle that on their own. It's a big school, so they have a lot of volunteer efforts.
Yeah. Do you know where the organization gets its funding to start?
Hunger Cleanup, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, we usually have a little bit of startup money that we have from, a budget.
Yeah.
And usually we keep a little bit of money from the year before in case we have any, so we can hit the ground running. It's usually a very small amount of money.
Yeah.
But, the funding comes from donations.
Yeah.
Entirely from
That's
donations.
Great.
So. We don't use a lot of money.
That's great.
Yeah. And Campus Ministry helps pay for things like making flyers and stuff like that. So they donate that money, and they donate
really
money
just
for
volunteer work.
they always make a donation also, which is important that they kind of put their money where their mouth is, so to speak.
Definitely. Have you seen how it's helped Bridgeport at all? Any progress? Any?
Well, I actually worked in an organization in Bridgeport before I came here. Called the Cardinal Sheen Center. It's like an inner city youth center, kind of like a YMCA type thing, but in inner city Bridgeport. And back then, Fairfield wasn't sending volunteers there. They may have sent some for Hunger Cleanup, but it wasn't an area that I handled, and I didn't know anything about it if they did.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, we'd go there for 3 hours one day once a year.
Yeah.
So, and it's on a Saturday, so it wasn't a day that I would have been there anyway.
Uh-huh.
But I worked in educational programs. I ran a program that was funded partially by the state of Connecticut and partially by the Sheehan Center to do, it was an after-school program called the 21st Century Club, and the goal of the program was to increase the reading levels and at the end, increase reading scores of second and third graders. It's called the CMT, Connecticut Mastery Test, in order for them to enter third and fourth grade. And they weren't reaching the levels that they were supposed to reach, and the program did what it was supposed to do. So any kind of money that goes into a program like that really does help. Yeah, it does make a difference, you know, because it's giving, in this case, you know, for a concrete example, it's giving kids the individual attention that they need in order to make the connections that they need to make to, you know, understand, you know, comprehend better, read better.
Yeah.
Then we also did math. For the same reason.
I love how it all like starts with education.
Yeah, it really does.
It's so important.
And that's why we give the money to educational programs.
It's so important.
Because you can, it's like the teach someone to fish adage. I can't think of the words exactly, but give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he'll be able to eat for a life. It's the same exact idea. So if you give someone food, it's not like you're not helping them. And sometimes those needs really do need to be met. But our goal is to help people so that they can help themselves. You know, sustainability.
Definitely.
It's important.
Definitely. All right. What kind of help could this group use for to help further?
You know, this particular year, we have an executive board. I advise the whole thing, and then we have an executive board, which is it's all student-led, student-run essentially. So the exec board is made up of people who are chairs of the various committees. So we have 2 co-chairs for hunger cleanup, and then underneath them we have 5 committees, and each committee has 1 or 2 chairs on it. So and then under that part of the umbrella, we have what we call the general board. So somebody maybe who was new to hunger cleanup who wanted to help get involved and help out, but didn't have the expertise to because they don't know anything about it yet, would join the general board, and then they would help out kind of where they're needed. So we'd say, oh, we really need somebody for the publicity committee, or we really need somebody for fundraising right now, or whatever. And so they kind of end up pigeonholed, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
This year, our general board was like really, really small. So the most help that we need, it's usually bodies.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So we need people to join the general board in the fall.
Oh yeah, that's great.
And you know, the more people you have, the more you get the word out there. It helps with fundraising.
Yeah, definitely.
It helps with getting, doing recruiting, so you get the volunteers you need and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's great. Awesome. All right, I think that's all.
Okay.
I need to know. Thank you so much.
All right. Do you need any pictures or anything?
Actually, that would be. I'm sure she would love that.
Give you some pictures.